Okay, we're back with Real Thoughts. So the past couple weeks have been a bit draining, and
a little bit of a blur.
Yeah, a little bit.
Little bit.
So yeah, and part of that is like just trying to get like the energy back, because I just feel like we're doing okay, but man, I'm just not feeling the energy like I used to. So I was trying to think of one today that would just be like, ooh, I want something to get really angry, like really pissed off about. With October around the corner, I found a good one that maybe you guys won't be that angry at, but I know I'm really fucking pissed at it. Let's talk about the remake of The Haunting. Oh, yeah. Fucking yeah. Oh my god. So
we haven't done that one yet?
No.
I guess I carry that anger with me at all times. I just assumed we had done
it. I mean, the nice thing is that I almost like... It's like time has passed, so it's like maybe it's gone down a little bit, but just every time I think of that movie or I watch the review or any of that, I'm just like, you goddamn cocksucking motherfucking asshole.
Yeah, alright, I think it's appropriate because much like losing a loved one, it never quite goes away.
It really never does.
I have carried this hate with me in the same way I will carry grief the rest of my life. It never goes away.
And like here's
this
the thing,
movie is so bad.
If it was not
so bad,
if it was not a remake, it'd still be really bad.
No,
it's
it would just be a really
piece of shit movie.
It would just be a shitty PG-13 schlock fest.
This is, I don't know. I really want to say, in my opinion, the most disrespectful remake I have ever seen. I'm trying to think of anything worse. Maybe there is, but this is definitely one of the top three.
Yeah, no, because I give Charlie and the Chocolate Factory some bonus points for adhering to the book in certain spots. And
there's a lot of things that got right in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
I'm trying to get a remake that disrespectful. Well, I didn't see the recent Ben-Hur. So there's always that.
I did hear that was bad, but
I heard that was pretty
you know
bad.
what it is, because
but once I've seen, man, that's tough.
Let's talk about the original Haunting, which I'm sure a lot of you have not seen, and you're really missing out on something if not. Because here's the thing. To me, probably to you too, we found it to be really scary. It's a psychological, scary film that is also about ghosts.
It's psychological, though. This is not
this is not a boo movie or a gory film or anything like that. It's all
it's
much
on your
more
head, man.
You know how everybody, like, for a while with Paranormal Activity and Blair Witch was talking, like, it's about what you don't see. I've never seen a film that does that. This is the film that did that, and it did it 10 times better than
I was going to say, because there's a huge difference. Blair Witch is a piece of crap, and Haunting's really good.
Yeah, but
same concept. You don't see much of anything.
Yeah, it's all about the inside of the character. And here's the thing, even if you don't find it scary, which is totally understandable.
It's a great psychological study.
It's just a great film. It's phenomenally done, masterfully done.
A lot of it kind of takes almost an agnostic approach of like, is she just fucking nuts? Or is this really happening?
Yeah, so this is a great character study. Just the characters themselves are just phenomenal characters.
And it was
Each one of them so interesting.
It was a huge influence, even on the likes of like Sam Raimi. Like you look at Evil Dead 2 and a lot of those spooky effects they use, like had that
start taking the frame and tilting it a little bit.
All of the camera tricks that Sam Raimi used in things like Evil Dead 2 or Quick and the Dead, where he's like
are from
altering the frame, and a lot of them were from The Haunting and those sort of 60s black and white ghost movies of the day.
So out of all the reviews I've ever done, this one was probably the most therapeutic, because I remember because I remember seeing the trailer coming out, and I'm just like, they can't. I mean, they can't.
Dude, he was kind of crying. He was like, it wouldn't.
So, and they just show the teaser where it's like, I don't even know, a face comes out of the house, goes, join us, and it's like, already fucking nothing like the original.
That was actually more scary than anything in the movie.
Yeah. So, but then the second trailer comes out, and it's just like, with every trailer that came out, the middle finger got a little bigger and a little bigger each time. And it was one of those things where it's like you saw more and more and went, oh Christ, no. I just kept saying it over and over, like, you can't be this insulting. You can't be this stupid. You can't be this heavily relying on CG thinking, this is scary. These Casper the Friendly Ghost pieces of shit are scary.
Mr. Critic!
Just
But it had the only, your sweetheart, Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Okay, that was the one thing that was enjoyable to watch.
And I like the way you put that, enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
Not listen to, not to enjoy the depth of her performance, just to watch.
And she said, there's one thing I'll say is legitimately good. I'm like, that was a good choice. That was a good replacement. I'm blanking. Was it Lily something?
Taylor?
Yes, Lily Taylor was
Tyler Taylor, something like that.
Yeah, was a good choice.
Horribly,
Yeah, that was a good choice for the main
used.
character. Yeah.
She, I could see, and the funny thing is, I hated her the first time I saw it, and I didn't even touch that film again until you made me watch it for the NC. And the second time around, I'm like, you know what, I changed my mind. She's good. She's used poorly. I could see how you could get a great performance out of this.
She would be a good replacement. She would be a good, if you did like the original, she'd be a good Eleanor.
And what a great example, too, of, it's yet another example of, like, how just because you can do one thing in film doesn't mean you can do it all. Because Jan de Bont, he's been attached to some amazing films.
Did he do Speed? Was that him?
I think Speed, I believe he was like director of photography and things like, like Hunt for Red October and a whole bunch of like good films that we've enjoyed, but it's like some just can't make that leap into directing.
Yeah.
And this was one of them where I'm just like, as good as, we saw the same thing with Lawrence Kasdan in the movie we're going to do with Nostalgia Ween. It's like great screenwriting. I'm like, he's written some of my favorite movies, but I'm like, his directing in this film we're going to do, I'm just like,
Yeah, the other films, I was looking past like the other films he's done, and they're not, some of them aren't awful or anything, but they're like, these are just, like clearly a better writer. And this film just had, I think there was something like, again, because this was during kind of like that CG boom where we discovered computer... generate images and stuff.
We got past the point where
anything was possible, but they were...
But not right. Not done right.
They're so occupied with thinking if they could, never stop to think that they should.
No, that's it exactly. The funny thing is, when I look at Jurassic Park, most of those effects, and I look at some of the early stuff like Terminator 2 and The Abyss, they hold up in a way because I think they were so freaked out that people aren't going to buy this. We need to throw all of our effort into making this look right.
And on top of that, other effects. They used other friggin' effects.
And they used those effects correctly. The T-1000 is a metallic creature. The water aliens in the Abyss are made out of water. These are things that computers can do well. The reflective, kind of fakey, shiny imagery. They did the dinosaurs well. And we got so used to it was such an easy sell so quickly early on that it's just like any special effect. They got drunk on their power and they're like, oh, well, we don't need to give a shit as much anymore. I mean, people will just buy anything. And it fails.
They did for a while.
Yeah, it fails in a movie like this. It failed horrifically. The Mummy Returns. Some of the worst effects I've seen in a, it was just laughable.
Even the original, the first Mummy was also very laughable, but that was part of it, I think. It was
but the Mummy Returns, I'm like, it was just even a huge downgrade from that. And so there was a while where just like, outside of Lord of the Rings or something like that, like just CGI sucked.
I think the only thing I can figure is that like directors and effects people got so excited that they could now do and show anything that's what they did. They showed everything and there was no limitation. There's no working within your limitation and no discipline then. There was no discipline to it. So whatever they thought of that they could try it, throw it, just do it. And there was no thought about, we had to make this scary. We had to make this believable. We had to have good characters. We had to make this credible.
And on top of that, let's just look at simple things like budget. The more and more CGI became accepted, the more and more I think a lot of the money crunchers and directors and producers and
you can make them cheaper. You can make
we're
them
just like,
cheaper.
well, we don't need to throw as much money at this because and that's very unfair because I feel like sometimes we pick on CGI and it's like, we're picking on the effects wizards. No, because that's very unfair to the people in the effects industry who are just like, well, I had like a week to do this with no money. Like, and you're complaining, like, I get that. So I'm not only throwing it at the people at ILM or Weta, for films that, they didn't have enough money tossed at them. The people who control these things share responsibility, as well, if not more so.
And so pretty much this film does the exact opposite of what the original film was trying to do. I think that's why it's the most disrespectful, is not only did it do the exact opposite, but it did so poorly and so terribly. And like I said, even if it wasn't a remake, it'd be a piece of shit film. And it is just... God, it gets me so fucking angry just thinking about it. It's like I'm trying to think of like legit criticisms, but it's like it was just... Okay. It angers me so fucking much. Here's my biggest problem.
I didn't even realize this till years later when I saw it the second time. Here's the problem. It's remaking the wrong film. It's not a remake of The Haunting. Had you told me you were remaking...
Casper.
No. But if you had told me you were remaking like something closer along lines of... what was it? The Legend of Hell House, the Roddy McDowall one, which was kind of goofy and a little more obvious.
Meant to be
or something like, I know the remake on that side, but the like House on Haunted Hill, those sort of ones,
or like
that,
13 Ghosts or something, kind of
those
goofy
ones that
gimmick.
if they had that kind of more shocky value back in the 60s and were a little more over the top, I'm like, okay, I get this. I may not think it's good, but like, but that's the thing. It's like they weren't even trying to remake The Haunting.
No,
it's like they were remaking one of those films, instead. So I'm like, then what was the point? I mean, I guess maybe they just didn't own the rights to that property because we saw there was a House on Haunted Hill remake, but it should have been Legend of Hell House or something. It seemed to me to have more in common with, that, which is scary. It's a fun movie. Like, I enjoy it, but it's far different from The Haunting. It shares similarities, but...
No, it's just, there's something just so, it's like the other one that might be worse, the Gem of the Holograms movie. Again, just in terms of an adaptation.
Oh, that's the one I was trying to think of.
I knew there was another one,
Fuck that movie.
So, but this is one where I was just like, kind of the same thing, like, wow, there's just no interest, no love, no passion to bring anything of the original, and they just want to do their own stupid shit, and none of it is better, none of it is creative, none of it is smart.
None of it makes any sense. Like, since the 60s, there's been so many ways to update investigating the paranormal.
Yeah.
But instead, they didn't even do that. There's this, like, there's no scientific way. There's this, instead it's all about a sleep study. I'm trying to study sleep.
Fuck that movie!
I'm like, why? Actually, it's not really a sleep study. It's a psychological study in fear. Why? Why is Liam Neeson doing any of this shit? Then you've got two characters invited over. One gets smacked in the eye with a piano wire.
You're gone. Totally
and that, for me, was the scariest scene in the movie, just because, like, when it comes to horror films, and, like, I'm not squeamish about much, but eyes and fingernails and anything that's going to attack the junk are, like, my three things. I'm like, ugh. So I was just like, that was the only scene that scared me, because I'm like, ow, her eye. Like, but and then they waltz those two characters off, never to be seen again. I'm like, what was the fucking point of them?
Well, and all the ghosts, even if you're gonna show the damn ghost, which is, again, not at all how the original film works, but, if you're gonna be so stupid and do that, you gotta have them be good-looking ghosts, and these are just... Haunted Mansion has scarier looking ghosts. I'm talking about the ride and the movie has scarier looking ghosts. And these are just the most generic, just kind of going, like, that's their ghost.
It's not even, that's what bothers me. It's not even a good, because, like, some people are like, well, it's a roller coaster of a haunted house ride. And I'm like, fuck
no, the roller coaster is better.
Yeah.
Haunted Mansion
I'm like, fuck this. The Haunted Mansion at Disney World is goofy at times, but it does have a very sly sense of humor, and there is imagery in the Haunted Mansion, and, like, scenes that are eerie and effective, like the dancing ghosts, and there's things going on in there that
more than anything in this.
I'm like, that's cool. Like, there's something cool in this movie.
Disney is scarier than your piece of shit fuck.
Your piece of shit PG-13 fuck.
Yeah.
Let's add that, because the Haunted Mansion, I think, is a PG ride.
Well, and, then you got... This was one of the few films, I'm trying to think how many films I've ever walked out on. I want to say there was 2 or 3. The 2 are coming to mind. One was this. The other was the Zorro sequel, was a Legend of Zorro. I walked out on that. And I
almost walked out on it, but unlike you, sheer morbid curiosity kept me in the seat. I'm like, okay, this is a train wreck now. I just want to see the bodies piling up. I'm one of those gapers on the other side of the road now, just... That's what I was.
Semi-curious because I think our aunt and uncle wanted to go see it, and
he thought you were scared.
Yeah, I was just too scared.
Oh my God, your brother's too scared. I'm like, trust me,
too intense.
That's not it.
I was just like, I could be playing
I was
the
20,
Lost World arcade game, which was out there. I could be putting my money in that.
You're saying, because I was 20, you were 17. What was that, 99?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so somewhere there, I'm like, the 20-year-old and the 17-year-old are scared of this PG-13 CGI. I'm like, the only people that would be scared should be under 10.
I think what pisses me off is that, with some remakes, because, sometimes you can get a bad remake and it can just be like, oh, well, sometimes they'll draw more attention to the original or something like that, but this was just so bad and so stupid and so
I wouldn't want to see the original.
Yeah, I would have no interest in the original after seeing this.
The only thing scary about the movie was the poster. Those are the few, they changed the cover of Shirley Jackson's book to that poster with the house, and I'm like, that's a legitimately scary cover to the book.
And then they put, Catherine Zeta-Jones and Liam Neeson, that sucked it all out. But yeah, just the picture of the house. You're right.
Just the picture of the house, because I bought that reprint, and I'm like, this is a good copy. I'm like, that was the only thing I liked about it.
Yeah, because they didn't have their faces out there for that one. But it's gonna scare people away in the wrong way from the original, and that is just such a crime.
And thank God Owen Wilson showed up in later films that I've enjoyed him in. Because it took me like a good 2 years before I could even say Owen Wilson's name out loud again without wanting to just punch him in the face.
Me too.
I would punch at air thinking he was in front of me. I'd be like, Owen Wilson,
really creepy.
Oh my God.
But no,
you gotta do the phrase.
Like this.
Pretty creepy.
I don't know.
So, are you a lesbian?
Even in the original, they were so clever at having it where you kind of didn't know if she was or not. That made the tension even greater because Eleanor is looking for someone to be close to, but she's not gay. There was
a love.
It makes it even more uncomfortable. It added to the
There was a love quadrilateral going on there.
Yeah.
There was a love dodecagon of just because... And none of this ends up in the fucking remake. But in the original, it's like Dr. Markway's married. Eleanor falls in love with Dr. Markway. Meanwhile, Theo is in love with Eleanor. I think Luke may kind of have just a basic lusty attraction to Theo, but Theo hates men. So it's just like going everywhere. None of this shit ends up in there, because all that happens is just Catherine Zeta-Jones comes out and is like, hi, I'm a lesbian.
Girlfriends, hi. That's it. It was the Will and Grace time of writing gay people. Yeah. And they really sucked at it.
That's all you had. If you were gay, in the late 90s.
You're pretty much a gay.
Yeah, it was just pretty much, I'm gay, that is my personality. Gay. And I'm like, they have real thoughts.
But the original not only used that element to their advantage, but you're right, they used everybody kind of having an attraction, kind of not, and so forth, to it, because you're stuck in this place with these four people, and everyone's kind of after someone else, but you have to huddle with them, you have to be afraid, who do you trust? It's like, what idea are you getting across to the others? It's like, if I hold this woman, is she gonna think I'm coming onto her? But I'm so afraid to.
Well, here's the thing.
One of those things.
The 60s one does have a couple problems, because it is in the 60s, it's very dated. You just didn't come out and just always say, hey, lesbian. So they were subtle with it.
Yeah, you had to hint at
it.
And
there's another problem of that. Theo in the 60s one is a predatory character. It's not a very good...
That made it so interesting,
But that's what I'm getting to. It's that when we can look back on that, you could write a book about Theo's character and how... In this time, maybe this is how some people viewed gay people. Is she a good character, bad character? She's a predatory character in this. Was it good enough to have a gay character, but she's kind of not quite the bad guy, but that kind of baddish guy preying on stereotypes, versus the 1990s version where it's just like, what would you write about? Well, she's gay. That's all they did. There was no personality. And I'm like, at least you could say, even if you don't agree with the portrayal of the character, that there was an interesting depth to it.
I never even thought about that. You're right, sort of that predatory, because that is somehow,
but that's what makes it,
how they're written, if they ever acknowledge it at all.
But that's what makes it a good story.
No, but you're right, but I never even thought of that.
They're pushing on each other and that's what's, if you want to believe the house is haunted, that could be what's feeding into it, or they could just be driving each other nuts, because... Yeah, no, Theo's totally a predatory character.
No, you're right, but what often worked on that is, because you're right, I never saw that as like, oh, this is just how they wrote, maybe how they wrote gay people, and like, hey, maybe they didn't, it's like, I never even thought of that, but I think the reason for it is because it is open enough and sort of like open to interpretation that I always saw it as like, yeah, she does know how to push her buttons, but it's also kind of like out of wanting attention and kind of wanting care and stuff, and they do have just this fascinating relationship, Eleanor and her, and it is one of those things where it's like, I don't think she was ever meant to be seen as a villain, but yeah, at times she is just like, she doesn't like that she's liking, the doctor and stuff like that.
You're talking about a psychic.
So he's kind of pushing the buttons a little bit, and it just makes it so, the tension so much greater, because you want to be close to her because she's like your close friend, but at the same time, you don't want to give off the wrong impression.
She's not a pure villain, because at the end, I think she realizes her mistake. Like, you can tell when she says goodbye to Eleanor, she's just like, oh my god, I pushed this poor girl too far, I fucked up.
Well, no, but there's also a scene
but before that, there's scenes where she's like, what were you talking about? I don't think you killed your mother. It's like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
Like, because she's supposed to be, like, in the original, just like in the remake, but they do nothing with that in the remake. She's supposed to be psychic, but she uses that psychic power in a kind of, like, invasive way.
Yeah, does she ever use it in the remake?
Like,
no,
these are all things they just picked up. It's like they read the Wikipedia plot synopsis of the original, and they said, well, we'll put these things in there. What are you going to do in there? I don't know. She's psychic.
No,
Stephen King's psychic characters do more than anyone in this fucking movie.
Yeah, no,
and that's a trope in his books.
It's one of those things where it's like, I'll kind of watch it and I'll just be like, Christ, this works so much better in the original because they knew what to do. They knew how to take all those elements, and even now, like, we're discovering more things about that film and other ways of looking at it.
Every time I see it as a character study, there is something, as not only as a character study, but even just all the shit in that house, because it's not CGI.
I'm always seeing new shit, yeah. And the black and white kind of hides it, but
the attention to detail, all of that. I'm always finding something new. I don't find anything new in whenever, like, the second time I watch it,
what you see is what you get, and what you get is a piece of crap. It is just so bad, so terrible, so dumb, and just for them to not even give a shit. They just clearly don't give a shit. They write their own backstory now about making the guy who made the house like this evil bad guy who wants to, like, well,
which again is Legend of
Eleanor,
and it's fucking Legend of Hell House. Like,
so stupid.
It's like, I'm like, okay, that's the wrong movie. You're like now taking things from some other movie, like, because that's when I saw that, I just remember thinking that, I'm like,
it's like a freaking Saturday morning cartoon. You took this unbelievably adult, mature, brilliant film, and you turned it into a goddamn Saturday morning cartoon, and it's just that total
lack of respect. It does remind me of the Scooby-Doo movie,
it's just a total lack of respect, and just these people, but it's like, we gotta remake it because we can make it better, we can add a lot more to it, just that fucking, like, we're better. We got it. Yeah, that fucking hubris. And it's just like, you have no goddamn idea, and I'm so glad it bombed out. I'm so glad that, like, just looking back, people kind of forgotten it, but I'm like, no, we can't forget. We can't forget that these fucking idiots are out there thinking
remember the Alamo!
It is just so frustrating. And it's one of those things where it's like, we do have the original, and we can go back, but it is just that pompous snobbiness of thinking that, because that's the idea going in, it's like, well, we have CG now. It wasn't like a different interpretation. It wasn't like, hey, we're going to shine some new light on this or put it like, kind of like in a different dimension or something like that. It was, we can make this better because we have CG now. And while we're at it, maybe we'll change this and add this. Wow, we're fucking geniuses, and you're fucking not. Oh!
You done?
Yeah, I'll never be done.
You feel... You okay?
Yes, sir. Hey,
I want to go out to McDonald's.
I need McDonald's. I need an ice cream cone.
Well, really hate. And what bothers me about it is it just assumes you're all fucking idiots.
Yeah.
Like, that's really all Hollywood was saying with that remake is like, well, you're too stupid to get something made in black and white from the 60s, so here's a bunch of special effects.
We'll dumb it down for you, don't worry.
We'll dumb it down, we'll make it something, but we're not going to make it an R-rated movie. Oh no, because we want to make sure that the kids can see it too, so we can maximize profits. Like, God help us if we get something adult or a horror movie like that, because I'm like, okay, if you're going to do it, if you're going to make it scarier and try to do all this, then go balls to walls, but like, at least, I know Event Horizon, that was R-rated, wasn't it? That went from an NC-17.
I don't know now. Maybe it was. Yeah, maybe it went from NC... it was done from NC-17 to R or R to PG-13.
And yes, it bothers me that we didn't get the NC-17 rating, but I'm like, that's doing balls to the wall, and like, that's not a good movie. Like it's not. But I'm
But
like,
at
you know
least
what?
you can
I'm
appreciate them
You
really
gave
trying
us
to
you
push
gave us
that.
some fucking hellish imagery. Like you went balls to the wall like with this thing.
Just little snippets, but they are in there.
Again, the four syllables I hate most of all in Hollywood, PG-13. It's like, we will give you nothing adult, we will give you nothing truly scary, we will keep it just bland enough that you may be able to take your 12-year-old to see it. And I'm like, so nobody wins. Like, because the 12-year-old gonna come out and see a great piece of art? No. Like, it certainly wasn't that.
The irony in this is that the original Haunting, believe it or not, was rated G, which is kind of insane.
Well,
but this is also back when Planet of the Apes was rated G and stuff.
Well, that's the thing.
I mean, you really had to work hard to get a PG because there's only 3 back then.
I prefer the old days. I think PG-13 is like, I think ratings are so bogus right now.
Oh yeah,
that it's just not even funny, because I just like PG-13 is just useless. It's one of the most useless ratings. PG, like, G is a useless rating. What movie is even rated G anymore?
Like nothing.
Yeah. There's always one joke that makes it PG, and I'm like, well, what did it frickin' matter?
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know. I'm fine with the old days. Like, you know, well, Raiders of the Lost Ark's PG. That's a PG-13 movie. Hell, like, Temple of Doom is a hard R, and that's PG-13. That was the first. Like,
I feel like
because of that.
I like those original ratings because it was G, like general audiences. Not everybody, just general audiences, because you can't predict who's going to be afraid of what, but just sort of a mass general idea. And, you know, they would go in, whatever. Yeah. Parental guidance, like, hey, look, some of this might be pretty extreme, like pretty rough. Have a parent with you, so if they're like, you can take them out and stuff
get to,
like
that. Your
and
kids'
then R,
adventures
it's like,
Goonies
dude,
and...
you better be an adult. Like, you really die hard, gotta be an adult.
R was basically, you're gonna see some shit.
Yeah.
Like, this is like, you know, and you're gonna see some sex, or you're gonna see some violence, or it's gonna be some rough as fuck shit. But, you know, I was fine with that. I don't know.
No, I thought
survived. We survived a lot of our early childhood that way.
I feel like a lot of it is that they genuinely do not want to scar a person growing up. God. That's what I felt like it was back then. Like, they legitimately did not want to scar you, so that it's like, gee, okay, you know what? Bambi's mom dies in a G film, you know? It's like Planet of the Apes was technically G, and there was a lot of violence in there, but no kid is probably gonna be, like, scarred for life, or even if they are, it's for something meaningful and good, you know? It's good for, you know, like, Bambi's mom to, you know, die and stuff. You know, but then, like, PG, like, Gremlins was PG and stuff. Like, you know, okay, look, there's a lot of people, you know, young kids, they saw Gremlin blow up in a microwave, like, that could really fuck them up. So it's one of those things where it's like, but some could be okay, so it's like, just be aware, guys, this could really be tough. And then R is like, no, do not show your kid this.
Funny thing, the Gremlin in the microwave I was fine with. It was more when the Gremlin had the butcher knife. I'm like, holy shit! I was like, that scared me. I'm like, a Gremlin with a butcher knife just...
Well, because he's really cutting her up, too.
Yeah,
that
I'm like,
made me nervous, too.
Yeah, when it was in the microwave, I'm like, oh, thank God.
Hey, you know what those have in common? They're more scary than this piece of shit film!
Oh, no, Gremlins is way more scary than Haunting. If I wanted to scare a child, I would show them Gremlins any day over the Haunting.
So, the one good thing about it is that, you know, we did a review of it, and it's just, like I said, it's probably me at one of my most angry, especially for, like, the earlier days and stuff, and I'm just hoping that brought people back to this original film, because some have said that. They've come up to me at cons and say, look, you got, you know, me to look at this movie, and oh my God, that was just, you know, really, what a masterfully done film.
As we said, it's a character study.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's gonna necessarily scare you.
Don't go in like...
It did scare us.
Yeah, don't go in and just expect like this is gonna be like the scariest movie ever. Like it...
No, this is
primarily slow gothic psychological horror. I wouldn't even say horror, ghost story character study. So... Like, I don't want to like, people are just like, oh, like, ghosts coming out, like, boo, and like, it's not that kind of movie.
Yeah, if you're going to this movie like, yeah, okay, scare me, that's not the kind of film it is.
Yeah, no.
It's one of those where it's like, if you like ghost stories, you know, or psychological study,
it is the perfect
Gothic
movie.
Stories, definitely.
It's the perfect movie to put on, like, the night before Halloween when it's really chilly, cold, and windy outside, and you got nothing but, like, a darkened room, and it's a perfect, like, fall Halloween movie. Like,
we watch it every Halloween.
Yeah.
I mean, we love it.
You know, it's like the classics, like, you know, the Wolfman, Frankenstein, Dracula. It's closer to that.
I feel like it goes even further than those. It takes
does,
that extra
but
step in terms of like.
But it's closer to that
diving
mindset of like the classics.
Yeah.
Not modern, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Nowadays.
So, this. It's one of the few movies, like I said, where it's like, I think with a lot of remakes, it's like, okay, I can see what they were trying to do. It didn't work, but I can see what they were trying to do and stuff. Even like, it sounds strange, but even like Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes, which is dog shit, but it's something where you see clearly what he was trying to do. He was trying to make an action film that has nothing to do with the original intentionally, and he even said, look, the original's great. This is not an update by any means. I thought it'd be fun to see some people fight some monkeys and haters. Kind of like a different dimension version of it. And it's like, fair enough. This is not trying to be a different dimension version. It is very clearly trying to be a better version because they discovered CG and it's like, and now we can put it in color, and all this shit. And it's just like, just fails so hard and is so awful and just such a punch in the face, not caring motherfucking fuck you piece of fuck.
But Doug, you don't get it. It's a psychological experiment on fear. Fear. I'm gonna kick you in the arse.
Hate this movie. You make Liam Neeson a pussy in this movie.
I love Liam Neeson.
Yeah, you make him a pure pussy in this movie.
I think the best scene in it was Owen Wilson getting decapitated. I stood up and
that's when I walked out.
I was like,
just
woo!
Okay.
I'm like, thank you.
No, I think that was the part where I wanted to walk out when she said, "Don't you see? She was my great great grandmother," and I just Can we go?
That was the one. Yeah, Doug was, can we go? And I'm just sitting there just. I'm just like so transfixed. I'm like, the fuck am I seeing? And that was the moment where I'm just like, okay, this may be the worst thing I will ever hear in my life, but just, what the hell is it? That's it, yeah, at the end, screaming at the Captain Ahab ghost of Ukraine.
It's about family, Grandpa!
I'm just like, oh my god, I can't believe I just heard that. Like,
love conquered all!
I was laughing. Doug literally taking the Coke straws and stabbing them in his eyes.
No, by that point I left because I remember you came out and you're like, I gotta tell you how this.
No, that's right. I told you.
I'm like, I don't give a shit. And you're like, no, you need to tell you.
And then she says, it's about family.
And then the little Casper ghost come out and lift her spirit. Meanwhile, Owen Wilson is rotting in hell wherever the hell he is. They didn't lift him up.
I just want to see his head down there, like in a disembodied hand, just. Well, thanks for nothing. I could use a lift too, just saying.
I think it's something where it's like we legitimately love dark, gothic, adult stuff. Because again, ghost stories were kind of seen as just kiddish stuff. But it's like, no, they could be really messed up and really creepy and really disturbing and really adult. And this one just said, no. We know what's really creepy, disturbing, and adult. We got this. And
or Evil Dead,
fuck you.
Or make it a dark comedy, like Evil Dead 2 it. I would have been, if you wanted to do that, at least I'm like, it would have been funny. But I'm like, no, this was only at best unintentionally funny. It's only sporadically unintentionally funny.
Yeah.
Oh, we should make mention of the Dudleys, because they were the only thing that got frickin' right in that movie. That was the only thing that carried over from the original.
True.
And I'm like, no, that was perfect. You nailed that
role. You want to know why? Because they almost took it line for line.
Yeah.
Shot for shot, line for line.
In the night.
In the dark. Yeah. And that's the only reason why, because they couldn't come up with anything new.
Yeah.
Clearly. So they said, well, okay, let's throw this in because it was in there, so just we can say it is a remake and stuff. And that they did fine.
Folk.
It's not better. It's clearly not better, but I mean, it's like, okay, that's about the same. The one in the original is just so damn creepy. That little smile she gives is just, but
It was a very good close enough though. I thought I'm like, it's hard.
There was an attempt. Yeah. There was an attempt there.
It's hard to improve on that performance because the one from the original did have such a weird looking face, but
sunken in eyes and just
but and the way it was lit and everything. But I'm like, like that one was definitely, I'm like, close enough. Like almost nailed it perfectly. It's just like you're never gonna bottle lightning twice, but I'm like, that was really close.
Yeah,
and that was the only thing. Oh, and let's just really quickly the tease of like, oh, is this what you heard? Dong 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 from the water pipes.
Yeah, that was cute, I guess.
But that's my problem.
Okay.
I'm like, I didn't like it because I'm like, okay, so you're sowing seeds of doubt. So like the original, I guess maybe we're not supposed to know if it's real or not. But then you have a a giant fucking hand grab Liam Neeson and throw him in the fucking blood pool.
How'd that go again?
Oh. And then my favorite is he just gets up. He fucking gets up and
That was weird.
like it just like stumbles off like, oh well.
I like your Liam Neeson is turning to Doc Brown.
Well, that scene in particular because he just had this shaky look of,
I think I saw Ponyo down there.
yeah. So many bad decisions.
So yeah, hate this film. Hate this film.
This Halloween, do not watch The Haunting remake.
You can watch a review of it though. That's okay.
Yeah, watch the review.
Well, watch the original or watch my review. No, you know what? Watch the original. Screw my review. Watch the original Haunting. It's a brilliant, goddamn, unbelievable
Watch the original,
film.
then watch our review of the remake. But don't watch the remake. I don't want money going to that.
Yeah.
It's one of the few. That's that and Gem. I mean, that's another one. I'm like, some people are like, well, I just wanted to see how bad it was. I'm like, I get that, but there's a few. There's a very short list. I'm like, no, I just don't want them seeing anything.
Don't support it. Don't support it.
Yeah, they don't need that money.
Both of these bombs so bad, particularly Gem, where it's just like even they get even the tiniest bit of money now is like, nah, wouldn't make up for it. It wouldn't even be like a cult hit, I don't think. Yeah, there you go. This movie can rot in hell. With
hell would be too good for that. That would be scary.
Yeah, with Ghost Crane or whatever.
I think it needs to rot in Casper heaven.
Ooh, we're here to save you, Eleanor. It's about family, Grandpa. It's making me too angry. So yeah, there you go. See the original, man. Don't see this piece of shit. So, bye.
Screw this movie.
Fuck it.
Family.